Hello everyone and welcome to my video guide to my KC Cup experience for the November 2022 KCC. I think I did pretty good. You have my ranking up there. Obviously that's not my actual ranking. That was my ranking when I decided to stop playing and go to bed. I haven't played since, so my points have not changed, but my ranking probably has. I hope I'm still in the top 800, but I'm pretty sure I'm still in the top like 1000, which in my opinion is pretty decent. Um, that was my peak, by the way. 27,000 points with a 67% win rate. And things went downhill from there, as you are going to see soon enough. I ended up playing 90 games. In those 90 games, I went first about as much as I went second. I remember getting kind of frustrating at some points because I felt like the discrepancy between going first and second is so huge, and I kept going second. At some point, I think I had like 15 games in which I went first and like 32 in which I went second, which is absurd. Um, but yeah, as you can see, 64% global win rate. My win rate going first is insane. My win rate going second is dog shit. I'm not sure if this is an issue with the decks that I played. I think it might be, though I think there's also this larger problem of like going first being generally much better than going second. I didn't play on Saturday. I had a good time with my friends. We ate a Swiss dish called raclette. I heavily recommend that you Google it out if you have no idea what it is, and promise you it's not something pornographic. And also, I want to say I played Magic with these friends, and if they are watching this video, I want them to know that I will not apologize for the things that I had to do in this Commander game. Prosh is my favorite commander of all time, and I asked you before the game started if you wanted to play against it, and you just had to say no, and I would have not. Anyway, how the decks I played? I played most of my games with Infernoids. This exact list, I think I switched. I think I tried playing a couple of games without the Light Sworn package and didn't go well. But yeah, that was the deck that I took for most of the KCC. I played some Metal Foes as well, 3 games of which you can see in my video on Metal Foes replays. Was really unhappy with this list in general. As you can see, I ended up cutting a couple of cards. I cut 1 Rescue Hamster, I cut Summoner's Art, 1 Summoner's Art because I remember vividly a game in which I opened like 3 Volt Flames, 1 Summoner's Art, so that was not really fun at all. Um, but yeah, was frustrated with Metal Force pretty quickly, decided to move back to my true and tried Infernoids list, which served me pretty well. Why don't I play Salamangreat? Like the clear best deck, I have a full deck list. I think everybody does. The deck is extremely cheap. Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I didn't want to play the mirror. I think it's one of the most boring games you could be playing of Salamangreat, and I didn't want to play the mirror like every other game. You know what I'm saying? Because I was expecting it to be the deck that I would be playing against the most. I also was not initially planning on playing much. On Friday, I ended up playing like 50 out of my 40 games. I was like, well, that happened, you know. And last but not least, I love Noids. I think Noids have a decent shot at beating the other top dogs of the current metagame, which is why I decided to go for them. And just a fun deck to play. I just really like Infernoids. So these are all the games that I played. You can pause this and I can resume the video later on. But as you can see, played mostly Salamangreat, played a bit of Galaxy, a bit of Mekk-Knights, a bit of Infernoids, none of which I lost, by the way. Played some Odais, a Dark Magician. There's this hero, and hero there, so I think I ended up playing more heroes as much heroes, maybe, no, more heroes than Mekk-Knights. And yeah, some other stuff, some crushing defeats along the way, some very surprising wins too. Yeah, and yeah, we don't talk about this. So, what are some of the lessons that I learned? I learned that going first is really just overpowered in this game. You get to set up for free, your opponent can't do shit to stop you. I think it's insane that I have a 0% win rate against Salamangreat going second, but that I have a decent-ish one going first. Same goes for Galaxy. I think only won one game, and I think like the player that I played against was really bad. And Mech Knights is just not even, you know, not even disputable. Like if they get to set up, they just win, which is, I guess, true for a lot of games. If Salamangreats gets to get their role for free, they just win. If they don't, they lose. DDD was also a huge pain in my ass. The 3 games that I played against it total, 2 with Noids, 1 with Metal Foes. I really underestimated that deck, and I paid the cost for it dearly. But also, how many times do I get to play and they open fucking enough to go into Giant Coach McGurk? Yeah, exactly. Second lesson, people were really prepared to play against Salamangreats, and it was kind of annoying as a Noids player. I ended up losing one game to Blackwings because they just got to Necro Valley turn 1, and then was nothing I could do with the hand that I had. And DD Crow was in a lot of decks actually. I didn't track how many times I saw a DD Crow, but DD Crow banishing Deviati kind of sucks, but then you can still go for Nonku, the second Deviati, sides the mass and stuff. It was annoying, but not like game-endingly bad, you know? I think it's also very interesting to consider that over 20% of my games were Salamangreat. Over 1 in 5 of my games were against Salamangreat. It definitely felt more than that, but it was 1 in 5. I'm so fucking tired of Mech Knights too. This deck is so annoying to play against, going second. They basically have a better skill drain, and uh, against Infernoid specifically, that's really bad because all of my removal and all of my interaction is monster based. Like, yeah, I avoid Vanishment and Feast, but that only gets me monsters. And I can't do anything if I can't resolve monster effects. I think like one of my wins against Mech Knight was specifically because they only had 2 Mech Knights on the board and I managed to bait the Indigo Eclipse, shuffle around to negate like I think it was either Decatron sending Petrulia or just straight up Petrulia, and then I went for Deviati, clears the back row, and I could end the game from this point forward. But that was like, yeah, painful. Also, ranked sober decks, I think, are actually decent as an anti-meta check. Seraph on the Sky Prison, I lost against that when I was playing against DDDs. Um, and there's a couple of decks that can make it sort of easily. It completely checks Infernoids. It sort of checks Galaxy. It also works pretty decently against Salamangreats. Like the one deck it doesn't do much against is Mech Knights, but then they still have to get over what is essentially a like at least 3k defensive wall. And there are a couple of decks that can make it. I think Blue Eyes it's a very funny deck to be taking in this meta because you know Salamangreat can't negate just big vanilla beta punching their cards. Mech Knight can't negate the activation in the hand of Sage with Eyes of Blue or alternative White Dragon. Spirit Dragon was designed to shit on the metagame in the TCG at the time, and it does hurt Infernoids a lot because, well, you can't resolve Void Feast. So, yeah, no, Blue Eyes is not that bad, actually. You know what's garbage, though? Dark Magician. That was such a bad deck. Every time I played against it, I was like, oh, that's just a free win. I just get to win the game for free. Thank you. Nobody like realized how garbage this deck was, and I saw this shit more than I saw DDDs or TGs or even Phantom Knights or Burning Abyss. Stop playing Dark Magician. It's just terrible. Nobody will take you seriously if you keep playing Dark Magician. Come on. And last but not least, there was a pretty exhausting endeavor. I think my 50 games on Friday was spread across the entire day, but on Sunday, in which I played like 40 games, that was only in span of like 4 continuous hours with a couple of bathroom breaks, but nothing really, you know. I had a pretty huge headache at the end of all of this. I started making more and more misplays, and I went to bed really, really tired. So yeah. What's next? That's my wish list time. I would like to see Mech Knights and Salamangreat nerfed, please. Circle is an absurd card to be able to run for free, considering like Rota and Fossil Digger at 1. Please limit 3 this at the very least, so they can't just play Compulse and Crackdown and stuff. Limit 2 Memory is also an insane card. That's the first emergency teleport of the game, and I mean, Unexpected Die doesn't really count, does it? No, it's not a quick play. But yeah, it was pretty strong. Also, limit to Gazelle and Roar because I'm so tired of losing to enemy controller against Salamangreat. Very specifically enemy controller. So take care of this, please. Also, Middle Ages mech was like the scale that I ended up seeing the most when playing against Mech Knights. There were a couple of surprise presents, but Middle Age mech was like the definitive Mech Knight skill for most people. I would like this skill to actually require you to play Ancient Gears, which is enough to metal foes, but like you have 70 other skills you could be playing with metal foes anyway. It's just I just don't want Mech Knights to get free stuff, basically. And XYZ Galaxy, Xyz Galaxy. Why did I say XYZ? Who cares? I would like this one to just add Photon Lords at the start of the game to your deck, kind of like Ultimate Dragon does. So you don't just get to foolish a guy from your deck in order to revive it and go into your plays. I also would like the second part, which would become the only part of the skill, to only be activable starting from turn 3, so you don't fear getting OTK'd on turn 2. This deck is very glass cannon-y, but it feels really unfair when it just ends your life and wins the game on its own. So yeah, these are the sense. This one change I've been arguing for a couple of months now, and it never happened, but it might. Who knows? But Mechlord should Infernoids get nerfed. The deck had like decent representation, I think maybe, and obviously it's pretty strong. What's your opinion on it? Well, I don't think Infernoids should get nerfed. I'm biased as fuck, but I think the deck is a sort of like, it's not frail per se, but it's an aggro strategy that tends to burn through its resources, not be able to win out in a grind game. I have had games where I just got decked out and couldn't do anything because, well, no cards left in deck. And no, it's a pretty explosive when it pops off, but also, what would you even limit on Inferno? It's like Vanishment? Void Feast? Come on. It's not that strong. Come on. But it might get nerfed anyway, because I do think the deck will have some decent enough representation to get on Konami's radar, and they're gonna might want to switch a couple things about it. Who knows? I sure hope not, but I've been burned before. Hello, darkness, my old friend! So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about my games, how it went, some specific matchups, you might see that I lost to Gimmick Puppets, for instance, or Light Sworn, or this sort of wacky stuff, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I don't have the time to like discuss in this video every game that I played, but I gladly do so in the comments, as far as I can recall at least. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!